Good evening and welcome everyone. We're back in the penultimate match of the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, brought to you by Star Esports Live, an organization dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community. I'm still 3.007, and I'm still backed by the ever-pleasant Sir Waltham.
Hello, Threep. Very glad to be here in this match. I believe we are in the losers finals. Scion versus Old Man Strength. Very excited.
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy. All of these teams have honestly been doing a little bit of a tear now. And I don't know. I honestly wasn't really expecting Scion to go down against the dedicated gaming, but I guess here they are. Kind of neat to see them here against Old Man Strength, though, who I also didn't expect to go down from the upper bracket, except that they ran into the dedicated gaming. They could be on their way for a little bit of a rematch.
Yeah, that would certainly be. We were talking a little bit before we actually went live here, Threep, about the storylines. I think it'd be really cool to see Old Man Strength kind of, be so long into the losers bracket and still be able to come right back into the finals and potentially win the tournament. Who knows? They still have to win the finals after all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna be rough, but Scion's pretty good. Speaking of which, though, to maybe give us a little bit of a hot take on Old Man Strength's prospects for tonight, we have actually in here with the booth Car Fixer, who is the main support of the Old Man Strength, and also a chainsaw expert. Car Fixer, welcome to the booth.
Hey there, thanks for having me.
So, Car Fixer, obviously, we're going to be going into your team versus Scion eSports. Now, the first question I want to know about this is, have you guys been studying them, or have you guys been focusing more on yourselves?
A little bit of a combination of both. We know when we went down to dedicated in the first time we versed them, we tried to focus a little bit more of understanding teams and not just underestimating them. And we definitely have been working on our own play in other tournaments and other games that we've been messing around with and trying our best. But yeah, we did a little bit, but definitely if you focus on yourself, the rest will come in fruition.
100% accurate in my opinion. It's not, I don't say it's worthless to focus solely on any one of those, because you are going to improve to a certain degree. But yeah, a nice little blend of both is definitely a good way to do it. Speaking of which, as you guys have been working out over the last couple weeks now, how have you guys been enjoying or lamenting the current patch status?
We're actually enjoying it. We weren't exactly the best Doom Reaper team, and again, we were just forming. I joined about 2 months ago, or almost 2 to 3 months ago now. And we just definitely had our bumps in the road, and it was a weird meta to get our heads wrapped around. So this new patch allows a little bit more diversity to come through and have some more creative compositions. So we're enjoying the new patch, seeing what we can do, using our players to our best advantage, and working through it.
Definitely looking forward to see that work come to fruition here. Now, this is something I've kind of noticed more so, I think, once that patch hit, is that we've been seeing, if memory serves, we've been seeing a little bit of switching out of your tanks lately. I think it's been between Yeatle and Veg. Yeatle on that Wrecking Ball, it seems like. From my understanding, when Yeatle was here, it was more like, a sub or a ringer kind of situation. Has Yeatle kind of been a member of the team that's just, if Wrecking Ball comes back, we're going to run it? Or was it they started off as a sub that slowly began to just kind of become more of a mainstay?
We've been friends with Yeatle. A lot of the players and teams are personal friends, and that's kind of how we got him to come. And we like to work around his streaming schedule because we know he's a popular streamer and he's got that going for him. So we don't want to have him as we need you here all the time, because he's going to go do well in streaming. And we had him actually for a while, even through the Doom Reaper meta, and that's when he was really used as a sub, because Ball wasn't really. The meta was so dominant on Doom Reaper that you really couldn't run Ball in certain situations because you're losing out on that double shield Sigma. But now that the patches hit, we can actually incorporate certain compositions, which you've probably seen from us, to actually use the Ball due to the new patch hit.
Actually, is a really good point. You would have expected, actually, with Doom Reaper, maybe that Hamster would have been super awesome, but yeah, it's just difficult to survive nowadays. Though I actually super like seeing the Ball play. It's just really exciting to watch. As a healer, though, what's it like trying to keep up with a player that we've seen, like, for example, like Yeatle, who is just all over the place?
I'll say this: he's all over the place, but he's never far from the team. That's one thing I've always noticed and always enjoyed from him. He knows what the enemies like to run and what they are running and how he should play to really synergize with the team. Where most people will play ball as a very solo play style and just try to get value by yourself and hope the team works out with it. He always plays around the team, and I leave most of that healing up to Darrow. So.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, Carfixer, I know that you play a lot of support, and in these beginning segments we usually have owners or managers come in, but I want to get this opportunity now that we have an actual player in the casting interview booth to start. What are some tips that you might be able to give some support players or people who are trying to get better at the different support characters that they might be able to observe going into this game to help improve their own gameplay?
Something personally for me, I was actually originally a flex support. I was for the team before this one and a little bit for the team before that. I've really only been on 3 like tier 3-ish teams.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of flexing for this team to swap over to the main support, and I learned that my mechanics on my heroes aren't perfect just because I don't have the playtime on them. But it's the decision making and the shot calling and the like informational calls of mostly like especially DPS locations, like especially in the Doom Reaper matchup, always calling where the DPS are so nobody gets surprised, can carry you a lot farther than just Lucio while riding mechanics. So we're still working on those mechanics, like I said, just so I could be a better player, but it's not always the most important to get those fat boobs.
Yeah, as hype as we like to go up here in the booth about the fat sick boobs, it is probably much more gratifying to the team and maybe even to the player to have just a, in general, more consistent, solid playstyle. It's actually something I actually saw on, well, I'll say the internet of all places, that if a Lucio ever decides in the middle of a match that, oh, I'm going Reddit, like maybe heal your team, maybe stick with him, yada yada. So I get that it can be exciting at times, but it sounds like that's generally the general consensus. So as we're going to get started here, hopefully within the next few minutes, I want to also toss out that one thing that I've never really been squared up on is the excitingness of like the first control map. And usually we see, actually almost definitively, we almost always see Lijiang Tower, but now we're playing a lot of Nepal. How do you guys work out with that one?
Because we've been playing so much Lijiang and we've been refining that a lot, it is a little bit of a curveball. Definitely not something we didn't know about, but definitely something we didn't practice as much just because we wanted to worry about the here and now. So we do have to adapt our playstyles a little bit, and a little bit of that understanding the team Scion goes into that to know like what do they like to play and how can we adapt our playstyle accordingly. But it will be a little bit of a curveball just because we don't have the same hours of playtime on Nepal as we do on Lijiang for all the situations we've come to encounter and know how to counter. So it'll be a little weird for us, but I think we can persevere.
Yeah, if memory serves, which my memory sometimes it doesn't serve, but I feel like I see a lot of Pharah on Nepal, and you and Dimes, I believe, take that pharmacy combo to the air on some pretty oft occasions, and I really like seeing that. Would you say that? I ask this to a lot of Mercies. But how is your communication when you're in the air with your Pharah? Is it more so you trust them to know what they're doing and you handle your own business, or is it a little bit more dynamic between you two?
It's actually a good bit of communication going between, because a lot of Mercies, when they come into the pharmacy, they do nothing but pocket. And until somebody needs to be res, whether it's the Pharah or somebody else, they just sit in the air. I like to play a more dynamic playstyle and know, like, yes, there's certain times where Dimes is not going to be focused because somebody else is being focused. So all I have to do is quickly swap my heals over to somebody else and then use the Guardian Angel Prefers Beam Target off to fly back up to Dimes and keep myself in the air while healing another person. And I will communicate to him, hey, I'm healing somebody else, I'm not with you, play a little safe. And then things like that, or if I lose him, like he gets out of Guardian Angel range, things like that, or if I think he should take a different angle, or he thinks I should take a different angle with him, just things like that. We actually communicate a lot, and we have worked on our synergy a lot with that composition. And it's working out well.
Well, fantastic. I think, Carfixer, we are about ready to wrap things up here, but before we let you go, do want to give you the opportunity to give a little bit of shout outs to whomstead of ever you would in Twitch chat or wherever in this world.
Well, you guys already know our long-running sponsor since the beginning of our team, chainsawsdirect.com. No surprise to anybody. Been big supporter of what we do, and has really helped us persevere and get the time and be the rock when we were going through the rough times of the different metas, and helped us get through. So, as always, get a good shout out to them.
Well, nothing cuts through your enemies. Nothing better than a finely tuned chainsaw. I'm sure Twitch chat will have a lot to say about that car fixer. But for now, good luck on your game coming up here. Good luck starting on Nepal, and we hopefully look forward to seeing you guys into this tournament even further.
All right, thank you very much.
Best of luck. Now, Threep, as we were talking a little bit before, Nepal going to be our starting flavor for the night. I guess it's night. We usually start these things a little bit earlier, but
Yeah.
only one game today. So, Nepal, how are we feeling about it?
Mayday, Mayday. It's always with the Maydays. I mean, we definitely brought this up the last time we ran into this map, and then it ended up actually being kind of like a huge thing. Depending on what rounds of Nepal show up first, it could be a very quick matchup. Speaking of a particular, how do we say this, bastion that we saw, that turned out to be pretty hilarious. And yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we see some of that farmacy, you know? The couple sections of Nepal lend itself to that, so that can be kind of fun. Maybe we see the May come out super ready. Maybe we see the early Bastion. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one thing's pretty self-evident right now, and that's that we're going to probably be seeing the Wrecking Ball as we do see Old Man Strength fielding Yeetle to start. So a little bit more fast-paced action coming through from Old Man Strength. Scion, I'm not as confident on them. I can't necessarily say I put any strong faith one way or another for them to run anything of particular note.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. This will be the first time that I've ever seen Scion in action. The last time that I got to cast for them was, I think, never. As just the way it shakes out, I never had the chance to get in on one of their matches. So yes, we actually are going to be kicking it off on Sanctum immediately. Now, I've seen Pharah played on this map. It doesn't stick out of my brain as something that I particularly enjoyed, so I'm curious to see what these teams are going to be bringing out here. Like we mentioned, Yeetle is on the starting lineup, so it's pretty much almost a guarantee that the hamster's coming out for them at the very least.
Yeah, and if I'm going to do some very unnecessary predictions here, Threep, I'm going to say that perhaps we don't see the pharmacy come out because Lucio's so strong. Car Fixer, particularly of note to me anyway, likes choosing between that Pharah or the Lucio. I think probably a little bit better for the support player to be picking that speedy DJ as opposed to, you know, the standard res machine.
Yeah, and actually Dimes is sitting on the May on this particular matchup and not the Bastion, but Take Me League is definitely going to be ripping out a spawn here on that Bastion. Yeah, that's instantaneous. Holy moly. And see, wow, okay, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking very forward to this as the games get rolling. We are going to be seeing Pharmacy come out from PMA and CYY, so going to be looking forward to seeing some boobs come out. Almost gets Madero.
Wow, and Dimes also gets forced down, but they actually live long enough to get that freezes off. Kills not coming in yet. CYY going to be the first to pick up Madero very quickly thanks to a boost of their own. Supreme's Mortality Matrix makes it happen. Whoa, Old Man Strength coming back here with a vengeance. They're starting to pick out the kills like crazy. Point completely uncontested for the moment, and it looks like actually that, yes, now that CYY has moved on to the point, it's going to go the way of Scion.
Yeah, and when you're running a Pharah against a May Reaper, you might not be too surprised at the outcome here. That Pharah gonna be so good against those DPS heroes who can't really provide a lot of long-range anti-air capabilities, and even the Orisa who can fire those bullets at the Pharah is still gonna have a tough time dealing some consistent damage as the arrow goes down way early.
Did someone say consistent damage? I think that rhymes with direct hits. And yeah, that made short work of that particular push. No Madero means you're not going to have a lot of sustainability in your fight. And CYY actually just built up to a barrage, so that's just not good for Old Man Strength. They definitely have to rethink this push here.
Yeah, and the tough thing is if CYY uses that rocket barrage, what do you do? How do you go about countering that? Yeetle going to be taken down very early into the fight. Means that Old Man Strength going to continue to drain time off, or have time drained off the clock.
Yeah, the support that Take Me League is bringing with this covering fire is incredible. So much damage coming right out of the gate. It's very difficult for them to, or rather for Old Man Strength to really cover. Yeetle comes in with a ground and pound. He does get away. The ball has boosted them up. A Sigma ult from Firewolf's going to come up. That's actually going to grab Cardfixer, but Take Me League goes down as well. And the barrage, there it is. It gets 2, but Hazard's going ham here.
Yeah, it's looking pretty even. The res going to be coming through as Firewolf drops. This might be the opportunity that Old Man Strength needed. They're going to be trying to get some presence onto the point, but that Pharah is still going to be a pretty notable threat.
Oh, wow. Yeetle grabs the kill onto CYY, or onto PMA Jellies. And yeah, CYY has to take the dive here. That was a really solid push.
It really was, and we talked about how the Mei can work against a Bastion. Just lifted them up. Take Me League not going to be opting to run that moving forward. Yeetle dropping mines early, but then dropping themselves.
Wow, that is a really rough situation to be in. What turns out to be a good... Oh, Niches... oh, the supercharger goes down, Hazard cleans up, and CYY gets the follow-up kill, but this one's definitely going to be going the way of Old Man Strength.
Right, and it's unfortunate as BMA Jellies runs into the mine right as Valkyrie ends. Because you invest that Valk, you invest the superchargers, the turbochargers, not really going to be finding much, whereas the ults from the side of Old Man Strength at least gave them enough to win the fight. Hazard and Yeetle getting some value for those, and they're still going to have about 4 online coming into this next fight.
Yeah, that Bastion worked out really well for Scion eSports, and now Take Me League is on to a Reaper. They're on their way to a Death Blossom of their own, and they're already getting such incredible value, taking Yeetle down with the help of their friends, and Ice Swall separates them from the team just long enough for Hazard to go nuts. Once again, picking up a 3K. The Supercharger being down, definitely going to help with that. Take Me League goes down as well, and it's going to be Old Man Strength equalizing this percentage after this push, last push from Scion eSports. It's getting a little rough now, but the ults are building up.
Yeah, both sides trying to get those ults built back up. We're seeing the Blizzard and the Sound Barrier coming through from Old Man Strength. Some very good stall ults coming out. But one thing to note is that Old Man Strength not able to take a man disadvantages as friendly because they don't have that Mercy in comparison to the side of, the side of Scion.
Oh, that's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see the barrage going in right as you get frozen by a blizzard. The res comes in, of course, but the ult picks up nothing worthwhile. Old Man Strength going to be able to take this to 99, but they're still almost at full fighting force, and they are going to...
Oh, no! Oh, Yeetle getting the boop on the niche.
That was exactly what you need to have happen, and Take Me League going down as well means that the Death Blossom's not going to be coming out in this fight. CYY is laying down such incredible rockets, but it's not going to happen. They're going to go to the Death Blossom. Overtime ticks down. Old Man Strength in a 0 to 100 reversal. That was not what I expected once that Bastion took root.
Yeah, I mean, Scion was looking really good there for the beginning. I was very worried for Old Man Strength, but I don't know whether it's that they switched off the Bastion or they just had to now push into Old Man Strength's defensive stance, but it was just not looking great for them. They were trying to retake the point. They looked so close, but then Yeetle came in with that knock off the map onto Niche and Firewolf. Firewolf, I think, used the Gravitic Flux to try to keep himself up, but it just was not enough. That was a thrilling play to watch, 3.
Yeah, that was nuts. And CYY, again, lots of damage coming in, but saving that barrage for that particular moment, I think would have been one of the huge clinchers. Instead, now it's going to be Dimes and Carfixer on the Mercy as well, coming out on this Pharah. There is no Bastion this time. It's actually back to a Reaper Fist for Scion eSports, and I question that, but we haven't seen this map played in a while, so this is going to be a pretty interesting one for that combo to come out.
Yeah, and it seems like the teams have kind of flipped a little bit. Now Dime's going to be running that Pharah, so kind of clever. A good Ori pull into the pile driver from Yeetle. Not going to quite be enough, though, as the first kills go for Scion.
Yeah, Niche goes down, but it's, this might be the equalizer. But Mac, yeah, Scion eSports, the sheer weight of their DPS, as we've noted before, DPS coming in like that, you can get some good counter kills, but at the end of the day, losing those healers first means that you are probably going to be going down first.
Yeah, and right now, speaking or now that we're talking about going down first, or in this instance coming up first, Dime's going to be having that rocket barrage online. Despite losing the battle, still built up quite a bit of ult charge car fixer, keeping them up into the sky. And the Reaper coming in from behind Old Man Strength did a bit of damage to clean up onto Madero.
Yeah, that was beautiful. CYY following the same exact route. They're not even going to go down to the barrage. They were already aced. Madero gets rezzed, but Dimes, without their mercy, falls to the sheer power of Pulse Blasters. Carfixer goes down as well, and this is going to be a push that, despite Niche going down, is going to go the way of Scion eSports. And that's some more ults committed to what is definitely a done fight. But honestly, looking at Old Man Strength, I think Scion's pretty safe in that department.
Yeah, right now I don't think Scion has too much to worry about. In fact, they're going to be building up quite a few ultimates. They're going to have the Death Blossom coming on literally right now. We're going to be seeing Firewolf and CYY with the Meteor Strike Gravitic Flux combo. A lot of damage can be done in that fashion. Meanwhile, on the other side, Carfixer, Yeetle, and Hazard, the only ones kind of close to any ults right now. They're going to have to really use them if they want to make this count.
Yeah, I super like how the much damage Yeetle is getting in here, but it's ultimately just being converted into ult percentage for the healers. Now, the Meteor Strike is out. CYY going to have a pretty obvious target here in the way of the Orisa. Actually, Scion leaves the point, and the kills now from Old Man Strength. That is going to keep them off of it. Death Blossom getting committed as well. More ultimates being built, though Scion is going to have a lot for a retake, but we're seeing some identical percentages here.
Yeah, it seemed like Hazard dove right into the face, or jumped right into the face of Scion, and they kind of backed up. They tried to rotate, play around the Orisa shield, which was off point, and with that, there wasn't really anybody to contest as the progress eventually just flipped over in favor of OMS. But right now, Mac going to initiate with the Supercharger and the Coalescence.
Wow! That is a ground and pound for the ages. A 2K off a ground and pound is nuts. And it looks like there's going to be a really nasty stall coming out on Niche here. That is spicy. Hazard even is going to pick up a little bit more ult percentage to ease his way to his next Death Blossom.
Right, and there was so much damage that was put through in just the first few seconds of that fight. We saw the Coalescence come out. We saw the Supercharger come out, so it's Supercharging Yeetle and Madero, but then Yeetle gets the ground slam, everybody gets locked in, continues to get focused down by the Coalescence, and an early Rocket Barrage from Dimes to settle this next fight.
Wow, I did not expect the Rocket Barrage to come out so soon. That resulted in absolutely 0 kills, and now they're not going to have that going into a Supercharger, though it does get taken out very quickly. Hazard grabs Nick to follow. Take Me League, however, Pop the Blossom, grabs Madero. I almost said the Slavic Flux. The Gravitic Flux is out. And that's a solid chunk of damage coming in for Scion eSports, but the percentage has been equalized and surpassed. So Old Man Strength is now in stall territory, and the kills that are actually coming out for them might make it more than a stall.
Yeah, Madero getting picked back up by Carfix are actually pretty crucial. They can't necessarily help to rectify that damage done by Take Me League, though, who just puts those shotguns into the enemy team's gut and pulls the trigger. With that, there's going to be about 1-2 fight territory, maybe, for Old Man Strength to have to turn this back around.
Yeah, Madero going down late in that fight is at the end of that fight rather is going to probably make this a single fight, and they're going to have the mines and Coalescence, and that's more than you can say for Scion eSports. But I have a feeling Supreme's going to build that up very quickly.
Yeah, that Moira just builds up ult so crazy fast. If they want to try to avoid that Moira Coalescence for as much as possible, they have to initiate clean and not give any free damage early. Take Me League already half. That's a good opening.
How did he get barraged that quickly? He literally spent it one fight ago. You madman, this is insane. The mines are on the field. It's a team kill. There's no way you can come back from that without some stall heroes. Take Me League's gonna switch over to a Tracer just to try and make it happen, and they don't, because that was insane. Old Man Strength fake take Nepal.
Yeah, Old Man Strength taking first point, and really, you know, I will go ahead and answer your rhetorical question here, Three. It was because of the rotations that were taken from Scion that Dimes was able to build so much ult percentage. Drop that Rocket Barrage right behind them. They just go into the house, don't even give it a second thought. But Dimes able to get that Rocket Barrage damage, or those Rocket DI damages through just good old-fashioned rotation. They have nothing over their heads, which means you can get rained on pretty easily.
Yeah, that was definitely a battle of Pharas in those particular two maps, where you had two very, very good Pharas, and honestly, both of them, I think, kind of flubbed a tad with some of their timings. But at the end of the day, Old Man Strength Dimes just comes out huge, and I want to say that was probably pretty winnable for Scion. And I think that they are going to come out of that round a little more warmed up than when they went into it. And I think Old Man Strength are going to be maybe even rocked a little by what they're going to come out with based on their next map pick, which is going to be theirs.
Yeah, so we do have the bans coming out from Old Man Strength already. They know what they want to kind of get rid of as an option here. It's going to be Gibraltar. So surprising, kind of not surprising here, considering I imagine a lot of teams haven't been running that Widow dominance that we see so much come onto the field in Gibraltar.
Yeah, it's still popular to run double shields, and while Hanzo can be a really excellent DPS to throw into that, Widowmaker not so much these days. Now, also, I think one of the things that could factor into that is the immediate happiness Scion eSports had in playing with a Bastion. Now, Old Man Strength has been able to counter that on Gibraltar before, but Scion eSports look very well equipped to run that particular strategy and may be expecting some of those counters.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to be seeing it taken to Temple of Anubis. I'm excited to see what these teams kind of pull out here. Scion going to be looking like they're going to be on the defense first, but I don't think we've had the teams pick their sides quite yet. It will be on Old Man Strength. So as we get that result here, we will be letting you folks at home know. Also, I want to be letting you guys know that if you think anybody's popping off tonight, popping off in this losers bracket finals between Scion and Old Man Strength, put their name in the Twitch chat, put their vote up on for the MVP. That's most valuable player for those of you who are acronym challenged. And we will definitely be announcing those at the end of this match up. Let them know that you're showing them some support. Give them some love. And if you're feeling so inclined, give us those social media endorsements as well. You can follow us, Twitch. You can join the Discord, all that good stuff.
I mean, when games go live, you can get notified, and that's honestly super cool. God, I feel like I'm explaining social media to a boomer. No, y'all guys have a good time. We love casting for you. We hope you're enjoying the games as well. So, yes, Old Man Strength going to be setting up on defense. Now, the last time I talked smack about a team that chose Temple of Anubis, they shoved it right down my throat. I'm going to keep my mouth shut in that regard and simply say that I personally dislike Assault in general.
I think that's a very safe opinion.
And so... therefore, good luck.
Best of luck to all of our teams, all of our players out there. We will be seeing a switch up of the sides, meaning Old Man Strength going to be starting on the defense as well. Looks like Dimes and Yeetle going to be taken out. Not too much of a surprise there. Usually we see Dimes when a Pharah is more comfortable to be run, maybe some Mei action, and then Yeetle, of course, with the Wrecking Ball. So I think we are just going to be seeing what might be a little bit more of a reasonable swap coming from Old Man Strength.
Yeah, Yeetle coming out, no surprise. Temple of Anubis is not my first choice for a Hammond pick. Dimes coming out, yeah, that's a rough one. As good as they are on Pharah, you know, player skill doesn't really factor into a skybox being too low to operate under, so that can be pretty nasty. Point A on Anubis tends to fall in the current metas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can understand. And if if there's nothing you really want to run Dimes on after that, it might just be better to have Guile come in. We do know that they are a very proficient DPS as well, so this will be a little tasty. Now, it doesn't look like there are swaps, coming out for, not that they're available for Scion eSports, but given what they've been running, Wolf, what might we anticipate seeing from them here?
From Scion? It's that's hard for me to say because, to be sincere, my experience of Scion goes pretty much with just this map. I haven't had the opportunity to cast them. These early week blocks are a little bit difficult to get a good diversity here, but I think that Bastion's probably not the go-to play that we saw in Sanctum. And we can talk about their comp altogether, but I think that it's more important to talk about some of the other trends we saw, like how once they lost a point, it seemed like they really struggled to get it back. They may have been good at initially taking it in those King of the Hill control point style maps, but it's not as effective for them to have to kind of come back, recompose themselves, and then fight on the back foot a little bit. So I think that's something where we might be wanting to look out from Scion a little bit more. I can't really say what their offense might run to start.
Yeah, that's a good point. Both of those control point maps went exactly the same way. Scion eSports built up somewhere into the 70s. Old Man Strength took it. They went up to one fight territory. They ceded the point once again, but then Old Man Strength would come back, take it, and finish out the map. So with regards to this particular situation, it is going to be Old Man Strength setting up on the defense. Now, control point, there is no attacker and defender. It's literally a King of the Hill style situation until someone takes the point. But Old Man Strength's initial defense, hasn't really been much to shake a stick at. So this actually could be a very good situation for Scion Esports to start a little bit of a retake here.
Yeah, and I think they're really going to have to try to get that momentum. I think, well, I mean, I know we're going to be seeing a little bit more of the standard composition. The Doom Reaper, nothing really too foreign about that. They're going to have to play perhaps a little bit more carefully, though, as we see Guile on this Mei. Old Man Strength likes running this Mei, and immediately the section comes off onto the Moira.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Very good delaying play there. There's nothing to follow up from that, though, and the shields are up for Scion, so they keep it up. The Mei wall comes in once again, stopping anything from happening in that regard. Big heals coming out for Supreme, who had switched off of the Ana back onto the Moira in the spawn. Very good choice, getting a lot of worth out of that right now. Mac goes down, CYY. Doomfist might have gotten a little bit of a nerf, but he's definitely not out of the fight yet. Niche finds Guile, and yes, this is definitely going the way of most Temple Anubis point A's.
Right, we're not going to be seeing Scion take too many more pushes to get it at this rate. In fact, it looks like they'll get it with just their first. And this is a dangerous situation for Old Man Strength, as it is for any team that loses first point so quickly on any 2CP map. Now they're going to be working against momentum, Old Man Strength, and we're already seeing some ults, an ult come online for Scion. Madero luckily has some ult charge to compare, but it's still something they're going to have to be conscious of. You don't want to let your team, your opponents rather, get too far ahead.
I am literally shocked at how high Vedge's Gravitic Flux ultimate charge is. That is utterly insane. He might even get that before PMA Jellies gets to pull out a barriers to counter. But it is going to be Supreme leading with the Coalescence. That's going to be followed up by Madera. Yeah, Vedge pulls it out. That's going to be a sizable chunk of damage. No one goes down, however. The healing from Supreme and PMA is just way too strong. And there's a huge presence on the point now from Scion. It gets taken down a notch by Carfixer, who finds Take Me League, but CYY's right there for Guile, which is a huge loss for a defending team. CYY then follows despite the barriers that just got dropped, and Hazard's now starting to really pull some weight here, and this push is going to be over from Scion.
Yeah, Take Me League getting dropped there, aside from being the first kill in the fight, was really crucial, because once you lose that Reaper, if you get on point, it's a lot harder to just wedge yourself in there. That Reaper kind of becomes a doorstop if you can get him, close and settled in, where people have to push into him. That is suddenly a much more threatening thing. You take out that Reaper, and even if the fight goes even or a little bit more favorable towards Scion, it's not going to be as easy as if you just lost, say, something like a Lucia when the speed's not necessary, because you don't have to worry about that repositioning anymore. But they're going to get recollected and get ready for another push here. There's going to be a couple ults online for the attacking team.
Wow, CYY goes ripping in there, possibly, counting on some shields that definitely got nerfed out of there. They get halted, pulled, cracked, smacked, and thwacked, and that push is going to have no fists left. And a Death Blossom goes into the backline. Niche going down is crazy. A freeze and a kill onto Firewolf. Another push done. Vedge literally already has Gravitic Flux again.
It is ridiculous from Old Man Strength. Their ult usage is spectacular right here. They're being rather conservative about it. And Hazard, for a moment there, it was looking like it was, intending to feed a little bit, walking face first into the attacking team past that choke point. But then they realize, oh, that's a Reaper whose ult we haven't seen in a bit. We're in a bad position. They start backing up, but it's not quick enough. The Coalescence comes out, and even that from Supreme can't prevent the damage that Hazard's putting forth.
Also, Jellies almost had a third of a back cap there, which is a little insane. Vedge pulls out the Flux again, because of course if you have it, so why not? So he drops it. It's not going to result in any kills, but it is going to be a bit of a stall. There's 3.5 minutes left though, so I wonder if that ult was going to be better saved. Meanwhile, Coalescence comes out for Madero, grabs Niche's supercharger before they can get any kills off of it. So that's kind of good for Old Man Strength with Scion now. The Blizzard comes in, and immediately Guile starts racking up the kills. Mei is truly the worst devil or demon Blizzard has ever created. Scion Esports repelled again, and the ult rotation now is starting to equalize a bit.
Yeah, I'm really starting to like the DPS kind of coordination I'm seeing between Hazard and Guile. If Hazard sees that Guile has sectioned off Firewolf, he will run into Firewolf and just blast shotguns out. What that prompts Firewolf to do is use his shift ability, negate all that damage. But that means Guile suddenly a lot freer to use that Blizzard without the worries of it getting eaten. So now there's like a lot of back and forth that these two DPS players really kind of working well together to accomplish.
We've seen Blizzards get eaten by Sigmas before, so yeah, it is not that thin of a window. It is very possible for them to eat it. And now the Coalescence comes out from Supreme. Madero caught a bit on the back foot for this one. Sigma ult comes out from Firewolf at maximum potential, but the barriers was there from Carfixer to make it happen. The Death Blossom goes out from Hazard, because of course it does, and Take Me League was not there to shotgun it back, but CYY with the ground pound makes it happen. Actually gets a couple kills before they get finished off. That's not too excellent for the defense, who did actually have to throw down the supercharger. But of course, Veg literally already wins once again. So like, again, the rotation is there. Meanwhile, since the Blossom didn't come out from Scion, that actually puts them in not too terrible of a spot.
Yeah, fortunately, PMA Jellies does have the sound barrier to kind of cope with Veg having the grab flux up already. Take Me League as well going to be having that Death Blossom. Madero can't out damage or can't out heal the damage that Death Blossom is going to be putting down, at least once all the other damage from the team is going to be taken into effect as well.
Speaking of damage being taken by the team, the Mei wall does a good job of separating, but Hazard gets caught in the backline by CYY, who takes him down, grabs Cardfixer as well, looking very good on this attack, led by the Fist of Doom. And speaking of Doom, Take Me League picks up yet another kill. Veg can't generate charge if he's dead. Take Me League does get taken out, but Mac going down as well. Looks like Sion's going to pick a third, maybe more.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get that third. That's going to be permanent progress on the board. And still just trying to come out from Carfixer right now, but the entrenchment from the side of Scion just looking too good right now. They just really have this point locked down.
So Scion did a fantastic job of, yes, siphoning off everyone, setting up those kill zones, but the stall does occur enough to get the point, the time for the match down under a minute, which is a huge milestone for any offense to try and beat. They do finish out the map, however, and Scion eSports looking very good on their home ground here.
Yeah, that was definitely, I think, in large part due to the early kills that Scion was able to get back on the back of that Doomfist. I think 2 members of OMS went down very early, and because of that, it's just so hard to maintain in a 4v6. Yes, there is defender's advantage with the respawns and all of that, but being down 2 members that quickly, that's a very tough spot, so I definitely tip my hat to Psy there.
Yeah, that was fantastic Doomfist play. They had a few hiccups on the attack on point B, and it looks like they definitely recomposed themselves, set up some beautiful opening shots, and that is exactly what you want to see from what is going to be one of your most forward DPS players, even with a Reaper on the team.
Well, hopefully we're going to be seeing Old Man Strength try to run it back or run it forward, I guess, in this case, a little bit more effectively. They're going to have to be aiming for 50 seconds or above if they want to be in the top position into the next round. But, you know, before we put our horse or cart before the horse, they do have to finish at the very least.
Yeah, so this is a really, really, really good situation for Scion eSports to be in. You love if you have to go first on an assault map, if you finish it completely. That is fantastic. Guile, Widowmaker here. I'm not sure if they're going for a solo shot or if they're even just going to not come out at all, but you're getting my hopes up and that kind of hurts. Yes, so the countdown has begun. Let's see if Old Man Strength is going to pull out here with a Mei on offense.
It looks like that's what Guile's going to be running out with Psy. This time going to be choosing the Mei, so no more Doomfist Reaper insta-lock. That wall coming up to protect a lot of damage coming through as the rotation is enabled. You gotta like that.
Yeah, and it counters the other Mei wall as well. It's all about preempting and placement and positioning, and Old Man Strength have it. Now the Hulk comes in, big old rock comes flying over the top. It's not going to result in any kills, except the healers are going to start building some crazy damage. Madero almost ready to pull out a Coalescence, which is nuts. So that, the wall goes up, that forces them to fold down. So Scion eSports now fighting on the point.
Yeah, and I like that. There was definitely some delay coming through from Old Man Strength. And they're going to be using that Coalescence as Veg and Mac gets so low.
Yeah, Veg and Mac almost die, both of them together at the same time, eliminating the tank line in one single fell swoop, but now Supreme has a Coalescence to go up against Shields, and we all know who wins that battle. Answer, it's the ethereal laser beam. CYY tries to dual Hazard and somehow gets taken out. Both Meis down now, though. Fantastic counter. Niche going down, no good shields for the defense is going to hurt, but Hazard once again gets traded out. These teams are duking it like crazy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ults put forth onto the field here. And a grab flux even going to be coming out from Firewolf here. They really want to hold this point, and another Coalescence from Madero to try to secure things lock it down just a little bit more. But the players on the side of Scion just so sticky to this point.
Now, I'm not surprised that ultimates are continuing to be committed by the offense here because it is so important to take this point with the offensive advantage, except Take Me League decides that's not going to happen. What a fantastic Death Blossom to throw in there.
Yeah, and really that's going to be it for the offense. They're not going to be having any opportunity to continue to push that push, but still, 2 minutes on the clock for the defense, burned off. That's a pretty good run. Now they're going to be looking, Scion is at an ult advantage. They're going to be having that Blizzard up soon as well. Supreme having that Coalescence. Madero having used it might have not been the optimal choice there.
Wow, that was awesome. Scion eSports takes the fight right to Old Man Strength in the room, in the choke, and it pays off immediately. Hazard goes down, no Death Blossom for the offense in that fight. Mac following immediately after, even worse. There's no ability that Orisa has natively to get those 4 legs moving.
Yeah, not really so much mobility on the horse. You think horses might be able to move a little bit faster, but there you go. And now Old Man Strength looking a little bit more favored in the ult fight. They're getting very close to having 4 online. Madero, as soon as I say that, has his 4th online instantly.
Of course.
Moira.
It's Moira, like what do you expect, right?
Yeah.
Now, it is going to be going up against a CYY Blizzard, so this is going to be pretty spoopy. Yeah, the Blizzard goes out, doesn't get caught by the Sigma. CYY actually goes down. I don't think anyone's going to be coming out of this one alive. Like, and I mean like literally anyone. This is nuts. Ultimates for days. Hazard drops the Blossom. I'm shocked that they even lived out of all that crazy awesomeness. Wow, Old Man Strength kept more of their members up alive than I thought, and they even managed to save barriers. Now, meanwhile, everything was thrown in by Scion, and they have nothing left for this defense.
Right, and a crucial part of that was Guile dropping that Maywall, blocking off the Supercharger for enough time for Carfixer to swing around with that Lucio wall ride and just deal a little bit of damage until it eventually breaks, snaps, and allows for Old Man Strength to get some progress on that board. Now, they do have about 3.5 minutes. I'm not sure if they're going to be intending to just go for some ult progress here, but they do have slight advantage. They might be trying to make it work for them.
That was nuts. The rotation almost happened to get Old Man Strength trapped in there because Sigma Veg was caught out, and it is actually going to go the way of Scion eSports, who rotate perfectly back up onto the point. Hazard's going to pick up some ult charge and a kill, but ultimately at this point, the only thing Old Man Strength can get out of this is a few more percentages.
Right, Old Man Strength not really going to be able to do anything as it didn't even get past the first third, so not a lot of progress, not any progress actually being made for them. And now suddenly they're fighting into a team that's going to be having 3 ults with a Lucio sound barrier on the horizon. Veg, even if he gets that grab flux up soon, gonna have to contest with PMA Jellies, who probably have sound barrier up, in a relatively similar time.
Now it's the fight of who can eke out the ults from who. It's the same rotation as the offense has been favoring to take, setting up in this room here. So now the trick is going to be who drops the ults first, and it's going to be Scion eSports. They throw out Firewolf Sigma ult. Cardfixer drops the barriers after the fact. The Maywall keeps them out as now Veg drops one of their own. It goes down and is perfectly countered. Barriers and grabs both down, but now the damage booster out from Mac means that Die goes out from Take Me Leave, grabs Guile. Good kills from Scion eSports. This offense is over and done with.
Yeah, with the exception of Niche, everybody used their ultimate. Supercharger got thrown onto the field. Death Blossom got thrown onto the field. Madero's and Supreme, I believe, used their coalescences. It was a pretty ugly fight that didn't leave a whole lot in terms of resources. Kyle gets taken down almost, before the fight even starts. But now we're looking at it. It's not going to be looking good for the offense for at least a fight or two here.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. I would not want to be Old Man Strength going into this with just a Blizzard, going up against a Blizzard, going up against Niche. Madero's going to have that coalescence, of course, but this is going to be a really rough push, and they're definitely not going to finish with less time, or with more time.
Yeah, things have to happen. Now Supreme getting taken down early is crucial, but there's the Blizzard coming out from side and make things happen on the defensive end.
Blizzard v Blizzard, and Max the one that goes down. That's not good. A Blossom comes out from Hazard, and it's a Hazard only to themselves. They grab Niche's Supercharger, but the damage is already done, and Scion eSports way too strong.
Yeah, it was looking a little too good there, and this is kind of a fight that, or this kind of ult layering is fine by Scion. They're investing, a May ult for a May ult. an Ori for an Ori. The Death Blossoms haven't been exactly equivalent, but if you're on the defense and the opposing attack doesn't have a surplus of ultimates, it looks very good for you because they can't just snowball a lot of resources into getting multiple kills. They have to earn those kills the good old-fashioned way. That's going to be very hard to do, especially with the timer ticking down on Old Man Strength, who probably going to have to take this into overtime if they make it.
It absolutely is going to have to be an overtime push, but since the time is below a minute, it's still going to get them a little more time back on the clock as the dueling coalescences come out. Don't cross the streams. It's too late. No kills going to be resulting from either of those, but they're going to keep their teams alive. Mac, again, getting focused down very dangerously. Though PMA Jellies being the first to go down could be the sign of something good. Take me lead. The Blossom goes in and gets all the kills.
Wow.
That's a 4K. Holy moly. Goodbye, Old Man Strength. It's 1-1 as soon as Veg gets cleaned up off the floor.
Yeah, Take Me League looking very comfortable on this Reaper, getting that big Death Blossom. As soon as the Maywall comes up, you can see Take Me League kind of try to position themselves properly to get that Death Blossom to get the most optimal damage. I think they achieved it perfectly. We got the five piece coming up on the board for Take Me League. Wouldn't be surprised if that's play of the game.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be, that was just so well done. Honestly, like, you almost thought it wasn't going to happen. The final 2 kills didn't come in until the very, very, very end of the ultimate. No, it's another one! It's going to be their offensive kill, where they got another, just murderous rampage going. So, well done to them, because that was freaking awesome. And yeah, we're going to be taking it to game 3 with 1 match for each side on the board. I had a feeling Scion eSports was going to be coming out of that a little better for wear, and I'm genuinely pleased that this is turning into a bit of a slugfest.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like a ping pong match going to be taking place here, just back and forth on both sides of the table. But that, of course, does mean that map selection is going to be flipping from previous round. Threep, do you have any expectations?
Well, if Old Man Strength goes back to control, I actually wouldn't really be upset with that. We had a very extensive interview with Car Fixer before we got started here, and they kind of indicated that they spend a lot of time on Lijiang Tower. So I'm curious, actually, if Scion Esports maybe bans that right off the bat, having possibly done their own research.
Yeah, if by done... Oh, no, the ban's going to actually go on to Busan. Hopefully, Threep, that doesn't bite them, because I think Old Man Strength definitely going to be leaning into that Lijiang option just a little bit.
I think they're super going to call that bluff, whether it's mind games or not. So let's do the fun one. If it's mind games, I think Old Man Strength can still match Scion on Lijiang Tower. That would be a very, very fun one to see. If it's not a bluff and Scion Esports generally wants to stay away from control, then it's still a really good win for Old Man Strength because, again, they've practiced the map a ton, and now Scion Esports have shown the reluctance to stay away from it. That being said, I don't think Scion Esports, also it could be the final third choice, Scion Esports might just not like Busan, and who can blame them, honestly.
Yeah, Busan, not the most popular option, but, if I'm Scion, I'd feel okay blocking Busan, because, it's, so far you've only lost to Old Man Strength on these control maps. So blocking Busan, sure, fine. You know that you're denying one of the 3 maps that you can get that you have historically been beat on from your opponent in the current match. So it makes sense for them to get rid of that, just to kind of give themselves a little bit of a reprieve, not have that kind of ticking away in the ether of their minds. But I'm also very curious, since they didn't ban it, if Old Man Strength is going to kind of roll the dice here.
Yeah.
I was hoping they were going to roll the dice and try to make Scion pick Lijiang, so that way they can get a win off of Scion's pick. Didn't turn out that way. It looks like Old Man Strength actually going to be making the call for the tower itself.
Yeah, and honestly, I get it. It is just such a solid pick for Old Man Strength at this point that you kind of just, I think you just have to go for it rather than run the risk of having it be banned. Now, to be fair, if you picked another map and won, then you're the one with the bans, and then, you get a good time. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. There's a lot of Pharah play that we've already seen coming out of both teams on Nepal, of all places, and we all know that Lijiang Tower is a place where Pharah can come out and have a really good time. So, this is going to be fascinating, and I also think that I would assume, rather, that Dimes and Yeedle are going to be coming back in. I can only assume this.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if we didn't see Dimes at least come in. It's not looking like any substitutions are going to be called quite yet. Old Man Strength maybe just taking their time, making sure that they know what they want to run. Oh, nope, there it will. The calls will be made. Pulling out Veg and Guile, putting in Dimes and Yeetle. It seems like those two are kind of the replaceable parts of their teams. You know, you want your machine to do something different. You just pull out these two parts, put in a different two parts, and all of a sudden it's completely kitted out differently. That's kind of what Old Man Strength's going for here. Scion looking a little bit more consistent with their composition, kind of being more universal, I'd say.
I'm somehow reminded of having to pull out the Rumble Pack on my N64 controller, shove in a memory card to save a game. Oh man, them's the days. So anyways, yeah, Dimes and Yeetle, I would call them the Rumble Pack of this particular team. They are bringing the boops, they are bringing the shakeups, and it's ours from Old Man Strength. I'll bet Scion eSports is ready to go soon enough, and this is going to be pretty spicy. I honestly, I would love literally any of the 3 maps except for Command Center, because then you don't get to see frickin' the pharmacy choices right off the bat, but you do actually get to see the maze, so that could be really good for Scion eSports, who demonstrated what I would refer to as superiority on Anubis.
Absolutely, and you know, we do have Dimes, who plays a pretty decent Mei as well. We are going to start on Command Center. This is I'm glad, because I wanted to make this point. This is probably the weakest map for Old Man Strength to run, because you know, Wrecking Ball probably not the best. I think Dimes and Carfix would probably rather run that pharmacy combo as well. So it's going to be interesting. I think that because we're seeing this map, we might see it go to 3 rounds, unless Old Man Strength has just been kind of understating the amount they've been practicing this and clean the floor with Scion, which, I mean, who knows? They say it's their most powerful map, or they say it's one of the more powerful maps. So let's put them to the test.
Could definitely go the other way too. Scion eSports, if they come off with the win here very quickly, thanks to some excellent Mei play coming out from possibly Psy, then, or no, I'm sorry, Psy. Yeah, Psy. Take Me League is the hazard du jour, the Reaper King. But yeah, well, so that's not to say that Guile's Mei wasn't awesome. The wall placement that they had, walling off Psy's walls were very good, but you know, the results speak for themselves. Hazard comes out on the Symmetra to get that portal going. He's going to switch back over to the Reaper to come back in, and yeah, it's going to be Mei v Mei.
Yeah, Mei v Mei moving forward. It's good if the other team is not that coordinated, but Old Man Strength not going to be able to manipulate those walls as much, as we see the rotation onto the point come through from Scion.
So the Sigma Shield gets taken off very early, and that's a bit of a longer one now, thanks to a little bit of a nerf. Psy gets caught out of position, and no ice column for them. They go down very quickly, and that is probably going to be an open season for Old Man Strength, but Scion trades very well in these 5v6s, and honestly, Supreme and PMA Jelly's doing an excellent job of keeping their team alive. Ooh. But that's a little bit harder with PMA Jelly's going down.
I think they got somebody in the caster's booth. They said, PMA Jelly's keeping people up. Let's take them down. And as soon as that happens, just the numbers light up for the side of OMS. And they're looking very good right now. Madero going to be having that coalescence, as will Supreme. I mean, the Meis are really where we see a lot of ult difference. Psy having that 25% to Dimes 15% away. That's you know, impressive.
So props to Yeetle for doing a great job on a hero other than Hammond. You know, it's important to have some flex. The cooldowns are coming out thanks to these Mei walls, and Niche is actually going to be the first one to fall. Coalescence goes into that fight regardless, and Yeetle, thanks to Take Me League, does get ripped apart here. Now, Supreme does fall immediately after their Coalescence. Madero had also committed theirs to the fight, so it's going to be Moira's building that up once again. Dimes is going ham here on this Mei.
Yeah, Dimes throws out that Blizzard as we see the ult, or the coalescence come through from Supreme, meaning that they can't Moira fade out of that Blizzard. They just have to try to maneuver their way around the geometry as fast as possible. Not able to get away, and because of that, we saw the kills come through with Dimes ults. Supercharge to initiate from Mac. Will it make a difference?
So it looks like everyone's going to be doing a fantastic job of avoiding it, actually, so much so that the point is going to flip for a tad. And this is interesting. This is a little bit of a flip that we saw from the last time we went on control point. Though Old Man Strength looks like they're going to affect a retake pretty quickly here. I want to point out that Supreme actually had swapped over to an Ana real quick and is already building up some solid ult charge for that nano boost. I am going to love to see where they decide to throw that, probably on the Take Me League.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of options as Take Me League does have that Death Blossom up. Putting the Nano onto a Death Blossom is going to be so powerful. They have to wait a little bit before both those ults are coordinated, but the initiation from Yeetle's grab Flux to start.
Yeah, barriers are in for both sides. Oh, Hazard goes in with the Death Blossom and gets slept immediately by Supreme. And if they get taken out, but it's not enough, Old Man Strength picks up the kills.
Yeah, Supreme, I think, definitely living up to their name right there. It feels apt. Psy caught in a very uncomfortable spot. The aggression coming through from Old Man Strength, despite getting antied from 4 of their members, looking so good right now.
This is nuts Ana play. Supreme, I think, if they can stick on this Ana for a bit longer, is going to have a fantastic job. The Yeetle, well, actually, I almost called Firewolf Yeetle because the Hammond was on the field. The stall heroes did come out from Scion. It's not going to happen. Waltham, I think you may have said it. I think Old Man Strength might have been practicing this map.
Yeah, I think the numbers gonna show. I think they're gonna be pretty happy about that, knowing that, you know, Yeetle's not as comfortable on that Wrecking Ball on that map, meaning that when you go to the maps where he's a little bit better, you're gonna be feeling even more confident about it. We're seeing Dimes, we're seeing Yeetle on what I would call their more standard picks. We're even seeing the Hazard Hanzo. I forgot about this pick. I'm enjoying it. A little bit of the conventional Take Me League might be switching or might be debating between the Reaper and McCree just to deal with the Pharah.
The head clicks that come out from this Hanzo are literally insane. So, I'm curious to see if Scion eSports, once they see this, are going to react accordingly and try to cut off those angles. Now, meanwhile, Supreme on an Ana is actually going to make this pharmacy a little trickier to handle. Psy goes down, almost goes down, rather, to some direct hits. And yeah, wow, just Niche, just doing so well on this pharmacy, like we always see it. Take Me League also goes down. That's bonkers. What? Sleep darts from this guy! He is insane!
Some very good sleep darts, and the kills evening out a little bit in favor of Scion, but they're still not going to be enough. PMA Jelly's getting brought very low before getting healed up, and right now it's just the side of Scion. A few of them are huddled up in this small room, and Supreme taking down Dimes. That is amazing.
It slept him right out of the sky over the freaking thing. That's insane. The disrespect coming out of this Ana is so beautiful. It's what? How does he do this? This is some of the best Ana play I've ever seen. It's just, unfortunately, there's not enough backup from the rest of Scion eSports, who are struggling to contest on this point until, of course, the minute those words come out of my mouth. And Take Me League finishes off Madera, so that's going to be a lot of problems. Now, Dimes just finds Supreme, and that's huge, and Carfix or Rezzing Mac is a good solid target, but in the meantime, Hazard gets taken down, and every time, the longer Scion fights for this point, the longer the percentage ticks up.
Yeah, and Dimes claiming PMA Jelly is not going to be much, but you get a kill with that Pharah barrage. It's something. That was such a long fight that Old Man Strength eventually just got to keep holding possession. Supreme going down a little bit early. I think Supreme's really showing their capabilities with their ability usages here.
Yeah, this is insane. I'm actually, again, I wish that getting those sleeps resulted in more ult percentage, because they're still only just now going to be getting into that nano boost, which is obscenely unfair for the amount of work that they've been putting in for Scion eSports. They're going to be coming into the point again. Take Me League gets boosted. Yes, here it comes. The Death Blossom is going to be real, and they're going to have to get this off soon if they're going to have a chance. And the Nano Boost goes away before they get the chance. Madero down. Psy Hazard is going to get taken out as well. So they still have a shot at this, Scion eSports does, but it's going up into one fight territory now percentage-wise, and Mac dropping that damage booster means Dimes direct hits for days. That's the 2 cents coming out from the Pharah in the sky.
Yeah, Hazard got slept and then just rolled up on by Take Me League, who it's looking like gonna be trying to gonna be trying to get something on point here. Psy losing their Blizzard though is expensive.
Oh, that was so sad. Hazard was just sitting there waiting for it. They get countered immediately by the Death Blossom, which we knew was going to be coming in there. But Niche's supercharging going down means that it's going to be very unlikely that anyone from Scion eSports is going to be able to do enough damage and stay alive long enough to turn this point over. That's going to be Old Man Strength, unless this Tracer pulls out one of the greatest plays ever. It's not going to be the case.
Somebody needs to give Sai a roadmap. The point is not in the moat. It's going to be a little off base, but Old Man Strength going to be taking this in a nice 2-0. I thought Command Center would go a little bit differently, but they looked dominant there. You can definitely tell this is one that this team's been practicing.
Yeah, that was bonkers. Scion eSports took the points, took Control Tower, I think, like once, and then they lost it immediately, and then it was a 0 to 100 on friggin' on this on this garden map, and I still can't get over Supreme. As a reminder, everyone, there's an MVP poll below the below the thing. I just really want to let everyone know that that's there, just in case you thought maybe tossing something their way. I'm not biased, I swear to goodness. It gives me such a hype fever when I see sleeps like that come out. So that is going to be 2 to 1. Old Man Strength has match point potential. They're going to get to ban one map, but the last time Scion Esports dropped their pick, they won pretty handily.
Right, and so now it becomes this situation where OMS has to ban a map. There's still quite a few that are on the table. We're not going to be seeing any more control. So if anybody's here to see some objective-based gameplay, that's all you're going to be getting from here on out. But in those objective styles, I don't think we've seen any hybrids, but we haven't seen any hybrids. And one escort map is still left on the table. Gibraltar got banned by, I believe it was OMS. And then 2 maps from the assault category. And I don't know which of those I expect to see. I think Dorado might be the pick we see. Teams seem to be favoring Dorado a little bit.
Yeah, and we're definitely done with control, so there's no way that that's going to happen. Yeah, Old Man Strength banning Hanamura is a play about as consistent as Yeatle hopping in on a Hammond on Lijiang Tower, so that's going to be a thing. We're definitely not... you know what? Based on that, honestly, I don't think you can pick Volskaya Industries and be happy. Yeah, yep, Kings Row. Okay, that's a much safer pick, much map that I think teams are going to be a little more familiar with.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But we got to talk about it, Threep. Every time the first point in defense, if we see an Ori Sigma, which I anticipate we will, it's just not gonna be strong enough. I don't think I've seen Ori Sigma hold past 3 pushes on first points for the defense. And you got to be expecting these teams have to be hopefully planning their game strategies around Streets, Phase, and Third.
Yeah, I can only assume that to be the case. Dime stays in, Yeatle comes out, which we expect that. I think that means they're going to be playing the Pharah. And I think that's one of the other things I want to mention. It's that the defense on Kings Row Point A with the Ori Sig, also with the... I think it's one of the things that the Doomfist and Reaper have a problem with as well, is their sustainability is a bit of a problem. And when they get, I think we said this the last time this came up, when they get the initial kills and they utterly dominate the defensive fight, they have a really solid time of it. The point stays uncontested for a while. Eventually, though, you cannot stop the onslaught of the offense, who replace their kills so much faster than the defense. With these teams, though, I'll bet we see some May. This is also a new patch, and who knows, maybe we won't even... Like, I can pretty much guarantee we're going to see Ori Sig. I mean, Veg even came in for Yeatle, so, like, that's the thing. Also, you know, Hammond on this map, a little rough. But Dimes is still in, and I think it's going to be the DPS that change how this defense get played.
Yeah, I think we can expect to see these two teams still play very different DPS styles. We can see that we can expect the Pharah. I would expect the Pharah anyway on the offense for Old Man Strength, whereas I think we're going to be seeing something a little bit more the conventional for their opponents in Scion, who have not, aside from the Bastion we saw at the very beginning, have not been too anxious to swap off of Doom or Reaper. Maybe a little bit of May, but it hasn't. They haven't changed it up aside from maybe those 3 DPS heroes.
Yes, and it's funny you mentioned that. That's the kind of thing you can never see again, is 3 DPS, unless we get another rules change, which I highly doubt, especially given the rumors surrounding Overwatch 2. I think Overwatch 2 is going to be a phone game. You heard it from me first. Anyways, we are going to be getting started on Kings Row here, but as a reminder, if you're loving the content we're putting out on this channel and you want to stay tuned for when the games happen, like, for example, the grand finals of this tournament, then don't forget to throw us the follows on the social medias, because we love having you here.
Yeah, very excited for those finals, which will be on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, putting the cart before the horse. Supreme getting hit by the rock. They're the one taking a nap right out of the gate. Veg with some long distance damage. And now we're seeing the teams come out. we're going to be seeing the Mei on defense from Old Man Strength, which is not that big of a surprise.
I always respect the audacity. There's that anti-nade coming from Supreme that does such a good job of getting those kills in. This point A defense goes exactly the way that anyone would have expected. And with Mac going down, that's no shields, no friends. Hazard falls. The point effectively belongs to Scion eSports. The point just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, it's rough, right? Because you're looking at basically losing the first fight if you're on offense because of Sig Ori. You're looking at having the ultimate probably disadvantage because you just died. You fed the enemy DPS ults and their supports got to heal them back up. So we're already seeing Supreme have that nano boost. So if you're on Old Man Strength, you have to really work on getting those resources reclaimed or trying to find a strategy that will conquer this Streets phase because you do not want to let this cart get far.
Yeah, now this is the kind of situation that, if you're Supreme, now you're popping off. You're getting those sick good times with the Ana. The anti-nade goes in again, grabs 5!
Large.
That is insane! Madero follows up with the kill into Supreme, but man, the damage was already done. And Scion wipes Old Man Strength off the card.
Yeah, Supreme, despite being the only one to fall, a crucial player in that last fight, landing a big anti-nade. And that is crucial. It's exactly what you need. Madero not able to build up as much ult charge, not able to heal as much with the coalescence as well. And Sai going to be having the meteor strike in the next fight. Might be looking to combo with Niche, that halt ability, great at setting up some massive damage. See if we see it come through in this final fight for second.
All right, so this is one of my new favorite things, a flanking Ana. It means you don't get to put heals down on your team, but if you can pick off the anti-nade of the Sentry, I guess it kind of works out. Now, they missed the sleep onto Hazard, who is going to get away here. Sai, however, throws down the grounded pound. Take Me League has already picked up Hazard. This fight's pretty much over. Again, point B is taken. It almost didn't know it, but it wised up pretty quickly. A plus 5-minute push on King's Row is exactly what I would have expected out of the team that picked the map.
Yeah, and the ultimates still have not recovered for Old Man Strength. They're still a little bit asleep onto Mac. They've got to be mauling at Supreme right now. We're seeing 4 ultimates online for Scion, and really, I mean, about the same for Old Man Strength, but they're not going to have them immediately at the ready.
Ana, Supreme literally has no chill. They never stop. Firewolf actually picks up Cartfixer with some help. The nade comes out this time. That's not going to do as much as you would like it to, and Old Man Strength, it looks like, might finally be stabilizing here as Dimes just goes, pure Hulk on this team.
Yeah, this is the fight that Old Man Strength needed to reclaim. They could not suffer any more of these losses. They're still going to be down in ultimates. We did see Firewolf use the Sigma Grav Flux, but in exchange for that, they have 4 ultimates on the board. Not quite as many lined up for Old Man Strength. Cartfixer pretty close, though, making things level out a little bit more, but you anticipate the Lucio's probably going to be saving the sound barrier for that Grav Flux, so might not be able to even use that again.
Oh, no way. What a fantastic play from the Ana here. Take Me League. They get the, oh no, the nano boost with the supercharger. So much damage from Scion eSports. It's crazy, Veg. No way can you survive against that. Madero, you're lost. The cart goes over with no contest at all.
Yeah, it looked like Cartfixer was hanging in the back and off to the sides, off to the wings to try to contest a little bit, but it just did not work. They weren't able to make it onto point in time. Probably left their hidey hole a little bit late, but with that, there's going to be a huge time bank in favor of Scion. More than they started with, actually, 3.
Yeah, that's nuts. It is. Plussing up on King's Row is obviously possible. It just, it's rare to see the cart just like not stop like that. I shouldn't say rare. I feel like we actually maybe see this a little more often than I'm claiming on Monday nights, but still, good Lord, that was awesome. And that's, unfortunately, it seems to be the trend that we're looking at here is that when Scion eSports pick a map, they freaking crush it. However, we have yet to see Old Man Strength's play here. This is still match point for them. It's just going to be a really hard one to get.
I anticipate it really will be. I mean, it looks like they're going to be running the standard. They're going to be running the Doom, Reaper, Sig, Ori. Nothing that I would have necessarily said that's shocking to me. It's actually looking like it's lining up with the exception of the healer to be a little bit of a mirror matchup. Supreme, I think they've definitely locked into their rhythm on this Ana. And that's pretty good. Ana, you know, with these DPS heroes that like to play, are trying to get into the back line, having that Ana who can defend herself with a sleep dart, you know, it's not bad. The healing might be a little lackluster, but you have the option to keep yourself alive for a lot more than perhaps Madero on that Moira.
And Supreme is just doing such a fantastic job on this hero. It's not only the the healer was the the optimal heals per second or whatnot. It's also the how well is your player playing that hero, and Supreme is clearly what I would refer to as really good at Ana. Now this is an interesting little setup. Carfix are taking a little bit of the high road here, as the rest of the team is down below without any speed boost to shake a stick at. The Moira orbs are doing their duties, but Mac once again getting focused down pretty low and obliterated by Sai, who goes ripping into the backline. That's going to be replaced pretty quickly by the offense, but the defense is currently holding all the cards here.
Yeah, Dime's trying to get in a similar rotation to Sai, but it just looked like the side of Old Man's Strength was playing a little bit too close to the wall. They were able to get knocked into the statue. The damage comes through a lot bigger from Sai when their team doesn't back up and get closer to that wall, get within that threat of taking an extra, I believe it's 250, something like that, damage of the right clicks. So, I mean, we're looking forward. There's going to be some ults online for Old Man Strength, and they're going to initiate with it.
Yeah, I can see why that would be especially excellent, especially given how dangerous Sai has been. Coalescence keeps everyone lasered up and ready to rock and roll. Hazard grabs the kill of the Firewolf to start this one off. The tick is taken, and honestly, it looks like Scion eSports aren't really that willing to contest. They're just going to, they're going to surrender the point, they're going to back off, and they're going to let the cart get rolling.
Yeah, they're going to have the advantage here of being a little bit closer to ults than the opponent in Old Man Strength was. But that being said, they have to be very careful that they don't just kind of let themselves get rolled through. Again, it's going to come down to time here if Old Man Strength is going to have any option of hold or any option of continuing on King's Row past this phase. And they're going to have to play it really quickly. And I think, Scion's going to want to negate that.
Yeah, and right now the anti-nades are not looking quite as spicy as they were previously. Dimes gets hit as the only sole member. The damage, the nano booster is on, but nothing really happens. And that was the cleanup that we saw from Scion on their particular push, and it is being turned around in exactly the wrong way. And that's a nasty stagger onto Niche, and Supreme as well!
Oh yeah, Hazard seeing that opening. The Ori and the Ana trying to get away. Neither has that mobility. Supreme, I guess, just didn't have Sleep Dart off of cooldown, so they weren't able to net that Reaper asleep onto the floor to allow themselves that safe getaway. But looks like they're going to be opting for the switch onto Moira. Not as many long sightlines on Street's phase, so it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, they're coming back into contest here, which is exactly the right move, but Sai goes down so fast in the fight. Now the Hulk's gonna come in, the big grounded pound doesn't get any kills, but he immediately picks up Firewolf. Dimes is on a tear here, and it's not usual that we get to say that when they're playing a hero that isn't Pharah, but boy, are they doing their job.
Yeah, Supreme gonna be taking a dip. I'm going to assume that was just so they don't get staggered in the end, because it was a little bit before the fight was officially over. It looked a little intentional. And now we're seeing the grouping come up from the defense, who, again, going to be having a lot of ultimates here. 4-4, or rather, it's going to be about 5-5 by the end of this. Supreme, the only one lacking ults alongside Dimes. A lot of ults to initiate.
Wow, the Halt goes out. The Scion eSports scatters. Sai goes down. They're not going to be able to throw the ground and pound in this particular engagement. Perfect placement from the bongos means that damage is going to be uninterrupted. Now they get all tossed up into the air, but the Supercharger has the line of sight, and the barriers catch in on all of them. Now it's going to be up to whose damage ult's going to go big. Hazard pops it first, but he goes down. But that does mean Take Me League's not going to be able to throw the Death Blossom until they come back from the fight. Meanwhile, Supreme's Coalescence opens it up for Scion eSports to start repelling this push. I think Old Man Strength might have to back out here or die trying.
They really will. It's not going to be enough for them to just get that cart to the last tick, which means they'll have a lower time bank in there as well. They used a lot of ults getting that far. We're going to be seeing both DPS ults up for their opponents in Scion, and they figure maybe now's the time to break out some swaps. Dimes on this May as well. Why not? But yeah, it's going to be some work, I think, for them to get moving. They're trying to combo some Ori halts in, but it doesn't look like they have the damage quite focused on those orbs.
Yeah, now the damage coming out from Take Me League is going to be interesting to watch. They have their Death Blossom ready to go. They've teleported up to the high ground, and it looks like they're going to be contested by Carfixer. Now, Sai is up there with the big boom, and Firewolf grabs his counterpart, Sigma. So that's not going to... Whoa! Sai goes down completely! Mac even finds Niche. What a complete turnaround. Now, there's no going to be res, and Veg is going to take a long time to get back to the cart here. And honestly, the kills are still going to be replaced. Cart moves forward a little. May wall placement is fantastic. The cart almost moves to the end, but that forces Take Me League onto the point, though Hazard was right there to get killed as a result. And the little bouncing ball from Take Me League is going to do a fantastic job here of cleaning up the rest of this push. Some ults being built, but ultimately, Old Man Strength is going to get pushed away again.
Yeah, Mac and probably Madero, if we're being sincere, going to have those ults for the next fight. And by the time everything is said and done, but it's looking like it might not be enough for them. They need to really make something happen as well. PMA and Niche gonna both be so close, and Firewolf rather, gonna be so close to having their ultimates online that it's not really a lead for Old Man Strength. So they just need to be explosive in their actions here. It looks like Carfixer's trying his best to stay on Take Me League, but it's just not quite working out. That Reaper able to get onto that high ground and take just so much advantage.
Now, the Coalescence comes out in the absence of a damage charger, so now the Supercharger both comes out, and it's going to be comboed with a Gravitic Flux. The barriers are in to keep everyone alive. Dimes throws out the Blizzard, gets a bunch, and the big Blossom goes in! That's everyone, except for one teeny tiny Supreme, who does go down along with PMA Jellies in the backline. The cart crosses the finish line at a 153 left. They're going to be starting that push again, but at least this time, Old Man Strength manages to complete the map.
Yeah, Old Man Strength, in fact, going to be having just under 2 minutes, so it's almost half the time of Scion, and if I'm being real, it might not be enough. It's Scion blazed through the track. It will be Old Man Strength to attack first, so they will kind of have to set the pace, set the mark at where Scion will have to escalate this map to, but it's not a position I envy them to be in.
Hey, Wolf, can you hear them? Listen, they're chanting something. Bastion, Bastion, Bastion. I think if/when you take point A, I think you go full pirate ship. We've seen overtime pushes before that take themselves way farther than you would ever expect them to, and I think the sheer shock of seeing a Bastion makes teams kind of think that their win condition becomes out-ult the enemy team. Plus, the Sigma C9 is very real.
It can be. It can be. There's some threat in it, though, right? It looks like neither of these teams going to elect to start on Bastion, which means they'll have to switch onto it. It's going to be an ult trade-off as well. Sigma, kind of very similar to D.Va and can just eat a lot of Bastion ultimate. So I think they're going to be a little bit wary of running that. Looks like we saw the D.Va come, or the Widow, come out from Hazard for a moment. Not going to be netting anything, not even a shot fired off.
Yeah, it's a shame, but hey, you know, in the shield met. Oh, Big Rock comes out, grabs Veg. He gets halved. The tank line has been utterly focused incredibly by Scion eSports. It's looking very good, as they always tend to find Mac and Veg in the worst possible situation. But Direwolf gets frozen, and that means they're going to be the one that gets focused down. That kill is not going to be coming back from the defense anytime soon. Sai going into the back line, trying to get some kills. It's not going to happen, but at least they get out alive. Firewolf back on the field. They're going to start floating back to the point, but it's already a tick coming out now.
Yeah, this is very good for Old Man Strength. They are getting this point early. Carfix are going to be dropping, meaning that not going to have that sound barrier up as quickly as they might like, but they will still have it up at a faster rate so far than Firewolf, who's standing at a 30%. First point going to be captured for Old Man Strength. This is good. This is all profit for them at this point 3.
Oh, come on, do it. Go back to spawn. Go get on Bastion. Come on, go get. All right, so it looks like everyone's going to stick with their very impressive ult percentages, and who can blame them? Dimes literally is going to have Blizzard probably in the course of this next fight. They've even got enough time left on the clock to push this cart just a little bit further without that death knell of overtime hanging over their heads.
Yeah, and they're going to have to be really careful with their cooldowns here for Old Man Strength. Otherwise, they get the threat of being knocked off the cart. Wraith Form and Fortify should not be offline or on cooldown at the same time.
What a beautiful boop from Carfixer. He sends Firewolf so deep into the back line of Old Man Strength that he literally has no choice but to die. Now, Take Me League is going to have ultimate eventually, but ooh, that's some nice little clapback coming back from Scion eSports. I think Max Supercharger, for once, despite committing it to a late fight, is not wasted at all. but it's going to be a lot of ultimates coming out from both sides.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of a slobber knocker here. Just getting the cart moved past these first few turns. The glory of holding in that archway for Scion is that they'll have a few more cleaner fights to go through to have to mitigate before they get that second point captured all the way. And already the resources getting blown pretty aggressively. Those shields not looking like they're lasting forever.
4 minutes is such a long time to go with, but overtime is super short, and now the big stuff's coming out. Nitch drops the supercharger, but where are the kills? It's PMA Jellies, and Carfixer does go down, but now
oh no,
there it is. Take Me League goes crazy. That's going to be the point. The cart cleared, and here it sits, 91.39 meters, but with that take, that's going to be, you can definitely do that in 4 minutes. I think they did last time.
Yeah, it's not unachievable at all here for Scion. That was rough. Dimes dropped that Blizzard. It looked good. We even saw the first kill come out because of it onto, I believe it was PMA Jellies on that Lucio, but it just wasn't enough. There was still the Reaper able to get onto cart close enough to get that Death Blossom. I think they really just lost track of Take Me League. And because of that, they were able to just clean up with that Death Blossom, allow the damage to come through, and to be honest, Old Man's Drink looked a little unprepared for it. Looked quite unprepared for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, excuse me, you think you have all the ingredients necessary to take it, and just one little thing out of place means that a team like Scion eSports is going to jump all over that and make it impossible for you to proceed. Now, it's the exact same comps we've been seeing from both sides, but now a May is going to be starting on defense. Now, this did come out previously, and, well, they finished with, as we can see, 4-12. So, curious. Something's got to change. Maybe in the way you rotate, maybe in your placement, but something's got to change, or Scion eSports has this locked up.
Yeah, Old Man's Strength needs to focus on, again, just not letting their first fight dictate the rest of their game. They did feel very disoriented once they lost the fight, the initial fight, and they weren't able to recover. Huge anti.
Wow. The anti comes in. Supreme again goes down very quickly after dropping it. It looks like the sacrifice necessary to make that happen is huge. And with that Reaper, that Take Me League literally just walked through the enemy team. He literally said to Old Man Strength, I'm not even going to pull Wraith for him. I'm just going to do it, and it's going to be awesome. Now, Hazard does find Niche before he goes down. We could be seeing some contest coming out here. No, it's going to be a full forced retreat. Now, Take Me League has actually a really good chance to get some stagger here, but it looks like they're not going to risk it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Old Man Strength decision here. I don't know about this. I don't know if I can test this. That's a little bit risky if they don't reclaim it in full, and with Madero going down, questionable.
Well, their sustainability is shot for sure, but Carfixer finding Take Me Leave's going to make it big, but Supreme. The nade after nade just keeps happening, and wow. Okay, this is actually really impressive coming out from Old Man Strength. They, of course, there's no way they can win this fight, right? All right, good. Thank you, Hazard. I don't know. Sometimes he pulls out plays that make me wonder if I'm watching an actual human. In any event, though, that is actually a sizable chunk of change that gets taken off the clock, and so now you're down to 3 minutes, and you've got some ults coming online. I just don't see Scion getting forced away here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And, I think I finally cracked the code. Supreme goes for the positioning that allows him to get very valuable ability usage, but at the cost of often his own life. We've seen them so many times, Supreme be the first person to die in a fight after netting something like a 3+ anti-nade. I think that Old Man Strength have to be very cognizant of that. If they can pick that out, take advantage of that a little sooner, it's going to be great.
Wow, Hazard goes out with the Death Blossom, picks up one, but then gets traded immediately, and Veg follows. Yes, Scion eSports is looking fantastic here. And Mac has a supercharger, but Hazard's on his way back. Now, see, Sai going down, that's a no bueno situation, but the card is rolling to victory, and Old Man Strength's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing too much of a stall coming out from Old Man Strength there. It's just not the numbers for him. It's going to roll. We're taking it to the 5th map, Scion and Old Man at 2 points a pop.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of Overwatch that I signed up to cast for. This is crunk, and I'm loving it. So we go to 5th map, and actually that means it's tiebreaker time, isn't it?
It certainly is going to be. That's going to put it a little bit more advantageously into the pocket of Old Man Strength, too. Now going to have the final map choice. Well, presumably final. We might get an assault map or something. But if it's a draw, then we see Old Man Strength, I believe, continue to have the selection up for themselves. So they're not in a bad position. I think that this ping pong match ultimately favors the one who gets the first win. That was Old Man Strength in this case, and I think Scion really need to break the rhythm if they want to reclaim it.
Yeah, we've been seeing it basically ping pong. The Old Man Strength takes it first, and then every map picker has won their particular map. So yeah, now it's going to be Old Man Strength's pick again, and historically, it's going to be Old Man Strength's victory unless Scion eSports really comes out and crushes it. So with that being said, history is no indicator of future performance, and I think Scion is definitely coming off of a really, really solid victory here, so they've got to be feeling good, and that is going to be a good thing in their favor.
Yeah, I think Old Man Strength here, there's a lot of reasons we can say Old Man Strength was successful on the maps they were successful on, right? We could say it was because it was control. We could say it was because Old Man Strength seemed to like those particular maps a little bit more favorably. We could say that it was because, Yeatle was in those maps as opposed to the Anubis and King's Road that we saw. We didn't see them in, and I think that might be something that Old Man Strength might have to consider on all three of those fronts, not just the Hammond front. It's hard to say. We are still going to be having those discussions between our teams as what they want banned and what they want picked. The ban, I believe, going on to Scion, or the ban coming from Scion, the pick coming from Old Man Strength. So overall, I still think Dorado might be a very good option for Old Man Strength here, just because I think when you say Hammond, to me, it means a lot of dive potential.
Yeah,
Hammond could be very good with that.
Yeah, it's spooky. I don't know what. Dorado is a fantastic map to play. Scion eSports has already shown. I know they haven't done it since, but the Bastion did at least come out once.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is though. Niche from Scion eSports very immediately bans the Dorado option. So that's going to be it for Escort.
Right.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
All
No more
Escort maps banned.
No Escort. No Gibraltar. No Dorado.
It's Volskaya. We can't play another hybrid map. So
yeah, it has to be Volskaya then.
So that sucks.
I'm hoping Old Man Strength is very inclined to Volskaya. I know that the teams sometimes are not prepared for this. It feels like a lot of teams kind of disregard Volskaya, but again, the map ban, we don't run the duplicates back to back, so
I mean, who would willingly go to Volskaya, right? Like, literally, this is honestly I think this is going to be the first time I've seen the map in this particular tournament. I think it's always difficult to say. My memory being what it is, a sieve. So Volskaya. Let's talk about Volskaya. Volskaya used to be the map where it was almost a guarantee that you were going to see a Sombra, right? Sombra,
Yeah.
Especially once they got that freaking indefinite invisibility boost, and now they have that buff onto their locator as well, or the recall beacon. So we have actually yet to see Sombra factor into anyone's composition. I wonder if we might see it here. I'm actually going to go with, to my own statement, no. But I don't think it would necessarily be a throw, I don't think it would be bad.
Yeah, I think a lot of people ran Sombra back in the day because of the ultimate charge you used to get from hacked health packs. And now that's not as much a factor anymore, because on maps that were very health pack central or had health packs very close to point, a Sombra could be immensely powerful.
Oh.
I don't think that's going to be helping the removal of that, and even the buffs that we've seen come through onto Sombra are not necessarily going to be helping her pick rate at Volskaya. I would be surprised if we saw them come through. It looks like it's going to be Dimes and Yeatle in for Old Man Strength. As we talked about those parts getting swapped out, it looks like they might be going for something a little bit more Pharah-centric. Of course, the Wrecking Ball as well. Look forward to seeing it.
The one thing that I thought was going to be a thing when Hammond came into play and it just did not happen was Hammond being basically a skeet puller for someone to shoot at. It was like literally fish in a barrel, like a clay pigeon for Pete's sake. The hero goes up, head click goes, or damage goes in. See, even with Sigma, and especially now with the cooldown of the 1 second, it's getting someone's into the air like that, unless it's a Reinhardt, the shield isn't going to be coming with them. And it put, like with the Mei wall popping up a Bastion or another particular hero, it's a really vulnerable situation to be placed in. And I think we do actually see that from Old Man Strength. The title still flipped a bit, actually made me do a quick double take there. Yeatle is with the grounded pounds, like he even had a freaking 2k on Nepal, and so they definitely make use of that cooldown practically every time it's up. I just kind of thought that maybe it would be more of a thing.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think part of that is just because we don't see, because the double barriers are so strong, if you're not setting up for that Hammond ground pound to negate those barriers, it's still hard to hit those shots outside of that specific setup. I think that if we saw a break from that, I agree that composition might be a lot more likely. As well, I don't think that OMS leans on sniper play too much. We'll see Hazard pull out the Hanzo every once in a while, but I don't think it's their bag. I think they like to be a little bit more upfront, whether it's with the Sig Ori or with the Hammond compositions.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I really miss? I miss Reinhardt. I miss Reinhardt a lot, you know? Like, I actually just wish there could be some more Reinhardt. Hell, even some Winston. Let's do Reinhardt Winston. Yeah, that's a good combo, right?
The OG double barrier.
Well, he just got a big buff to his bubble. I mean, that's a thing, right? Yeah. It has more health now. It's come on. Anyways, so defense coming out. See, there it is. Yes. Come on, leave spawn, you bum. He did. Awesome. Yes, Bastion is on the field. I freaking knew it. They're gonna lose the point in 30 seconds.
Like, it's conflicting, right? The Bastion can put down so much damage, and right now, OMS, Old Man Strength, just not running as many shields to negate that Bastion, but they are running the Pharah and Hazard, who very good long-range threats that Bastion has to, you know, kind of fire a little bit more sustains to get the damage necessary on those targets.
Yeah.
So some very good possibilities from Madero. I think this might be one of the few times I've seen them on the Ana in a very long time.
The Sonic Arrow is in. The placement of the team is known for sure. Dimes is going to come down on this like anger. Pure, unadulterated anger. Niche goes down immediately. No. This is bonkers. The immortality field is down. The team is scattered completely. Take Me League is absolutely not going to survive this. Supreme with, again, these sleep darts of God. But yeah, the point is going to go down in almost exactly 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was a real unfortunate for Scion. Take Me League. The disadvantage of having a bunker Bastion here is that you don't directly overlook the point with a roof over your head. So if we saw a maneuver come through like Old Man Strength just did, where the Pharah's on one side of you, the Hans is on the other side of you, that Bastion has to choose what to focus. And especially when your Orisa dies, that is a ticking time bomb for you to just get dragged out, beat down, and put the hurt on. And I applaud Old Man Strength. That was well executed.
Yeah, now I actually kind of thought that Hazard was going to be ducking away from the Hanzo after the Sonic Arrow went in, but it looks like they're going to be sticking on it long enough to at least get a single Dragon's out. But they get a little tag! Wait, this Sigma is so far out of position, I can't believe that didn't get punished, but Dime's looking very low. They're not going to live long enough to get that barrage if they keep taking damage like that. Yeatle goes in with the ground and pound. It is not going to happen, but the McCree goes down, the barrage gets nothing! They even get stunned out of it. Psy goes down! That was huge! Now Take Me League is in your Orisa, killing everyone, and the Mercy out from the defense just is... No, that was... Sorry. Yeah, PMA Jelly is not able to get the res here. There's so many mines on the field. This is crazy! Firewolf is just not able to compete on this Hammond, and PMA Jellies gets ripped apart, and it's just done. 5 minutes on the clock. Old Man Strength with an incredible Volskaya push.
That is a breath of fresh air if you're Old Man Strength. You just rewound King's Row, changed the map, and put yourself in the winning spot, because that was blazing for them. I can only imagine they're feeling real good about that, especially since, you know, this wasn't one of the maps we heard them talking massively about that. Oh, we perform really strongly on this map, or this is one of our strongest maps. They just had the comp for it, and it worked like a charm.
I'm going to throw out some mad love to Vampire Overwatch, who just subscribed
Ooh.
at Tier 1. Thank you very much for joining us here. We hope you're enjoying the game, and we hope that you'll be tuning in not only for the rest of this one, don't go to bed too early, and then the grand finals on Wednesday. Meanwhile, however, yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. If Volskaya was toast, then Old Man Strength was the buttery, rockety justice that Dimes slathered all over it. Again, once that Sonic arrow came out and Dimes having already taken the hard left flank, you knew that was going to be utterly disastrous for Scion eSports. Literally no way to counter that except by detecting that Dimes was not going to be coming from that, or rather detecting Dimes and Carfix are coming up from behind. So then you can reposition. It was perfect. So now, however, offense coming out from Scion eSports, I almost don't really know what to expect. We know what to expect from Old Man Strength because they love Pharah and Yeetle on the Hammond. Scion Strength, I've never seen them play before tonight, let alone Volskaya.
Yeah, I'm wary on this Widow pick. I think it's going to be a swap. Yeah, it will be instantly. And Psy on this May, I don't necessarily know what they're going to be going for. If they've been doing their research, they would know that the Pharah's pretty much a lock for Old Man Strength, which makes those May walls a little bit harder to get that immense value out of. And already Dimes cranking down the damage, cranking up the ult charge.
I'm sure they were hoping that Old Man Strength was going to be dismayed at the pick, but right now it looks like that Dimes is the one who's still shelling it out. And it's just huge. Madero's on what? Ana? We got more Ana play? This is awesome. I love it. Now, I haven't seen anything super sick come out from them, and PMA Jellies actually rips them apart so fast, you almost could be forgiven for forgetting that they were on the Ana. But they also get taken up pretty quickly, and Scion eSports is going to go down. That might even be enough time. Yeah, Madero actually switches over to a Moira just to get back on the cart. And Supreme, again, doing so fantastically. They're actually going to have a nano boost for this fight.
Yeah, Scion eSports still trying to hold forward so they don't have to hold at that big ol' archway. They don't have to have everybody take that damage from that Pharah once again. Yeetle getting a nice grounds pound, getting some serious shielding out of it as well. Whew! Maywell's not quite able to cut off like you might prefer.
Yeah, Hazard's getting a little low. The barrage goes in. It grabs only PMA Jellies. No Sleep Dart this time to knock it out, but Dimes does go down. Hazard finds Niche with a hell of a headshot. And it's not looking good for Old Man Strength on the defense here, who, despite my complaining, are managing to take some people down. Now, Carfixer going down is huge. Valkyrie was just about to come online, and the res is definitely not going to be available. The Dragons come onto the field. The boop is real, though, and Hazard is going to have a tough time living. Yeah, they go down. Madero, however, proving that Moira still has some dueling potential, and I think the point's going to be lost here, but already that's a much better hold than what we saw come out of Scion eSports.
Yeah, Yeetle may try some last-minute stall. Looks like he's lining up at that top, or he might just be trying to spy what direction to go through. Yeah, he's going to be coming in with
oh my god, they're all going in.
And the mines!
Mines are on the field. The pharmacy is here. The team scatters. Scion, however, picks up Madero immediately. The rest comes in so fast. Wait, what are these kills? Barriers are now on the field for the defense. They're committing ults to this take, which should only be another 6%.
Yeah, it's so close. But Madero managing to get the kills, pulling back for their team. Old Man Strength showing that composure that they need. And the kill's not going to eventually go all the way in their favor, but they bought a lot more time than they gave up the first time around.
Yeah, and the respawn time change that came in means that all those kills are going to be replenished immediately. Fantastic use. Time is already below the first push. So that was perfect. That is exactly the stall you want to have come out. However, Scion eSports push it through, and thanks to all that, what I will refer to now since they lost the point as feeding, Scion's going to have a lot of ults for this fight.
They will. We're going to be seeing Madero with that coalescence to come online. Those can be very fight-winning, especially since they're playing against a very standard comp. But the Blizzard will buy a lot of space and perhaps a few ticks. Not if Psy goes down first, though.
Wow, that was crazy. So no push, no Blizzard for this push. No ults come out at all from the side of Scion eSports, though, and that was perfect. You coaxed out the supercharger. They're good. Dimes has barrage. Everyone knows that. It's like the sun rising. But Scion, aside from PMA Jellies, they're looking at a full clip.
Right, and PMA Jellies, I mean, you're not probably too concerned about that sound barrier. You'd like to have it, but you know, you're not having to go up against a Sigma with grab flux, so not as much to worry about. Supreme trying to do a little anti-air duty against this pharmacy combo, not netting so much damage quite yet.
Yeah, I love that when the Sigma shield gets thrust up into a barrier. The Sigma ult goes in to start. It catches a few. Hazard, however, looking so low, it's going to be spooky. Oh, Nitch goes... Supercharger gets lost. Nitch does go down, but Take Me Leave pops them out. The big die is going to come out from Take Me Leave as well. That is just a solid take from Scion eSports. They are just going to, with a team kill, probably take this point. Max on Reinhardt. Yes!
Yeah, Dime's going to be popping on that Tracer just to come back. The tanks both make it back onto the point. Needle claiming some life, but it's not going to be for long, my man.
Oh, Mac got vaporized so hard, and the Sigma ult was so ready for that Death Blossom. It's a nice little shield boost for Firewolf. Yes, thank you. He will take that. And now it's just gotta be stall territory for Old Man Strength, which, you know, we've seen them be pretty good at it, but there's no one left this time. How did Mac get back to the point, and how is Needle still even here? This team is so much fun to watch with the stalls. Hazard! Oh, Hazard auto kills! Kills are coming in now! This is what you want from a stall! Now Hazard does go down, but the defense is gonna be replacing kills so much faster. Madero even pulls out! Needle gets anti-nated, they're gonna get focused down very quickly if they stay in this fight. They don't! Cardfixer grabs Psy! What happened?
That was incredible. Hazard, I don't think anybody expected that pull onto the McCree, because who runs McCree on stall? But the answer is Old Man Strength, apparently. They're going to swing back, start to claim some productivity here, and, you know, Dime's going to be having that pulse bomb to start. I don't think they're going to expect to get too much with it, unless they can land it on a support. Nothing to really negate that damage once it does connect.
Yeah, Dimes just goes right back to the far end. I really can't blame them in that particular situation. But it's a minute 30 left, and I really can't believe I'm saying this, but we might be looking at the point B hold on Volskaya. Usually these matchups tend to go with like 8 or 9 points on the boards combined from both teams. But with an early kill onto PMA Jellies, they are going to be strolling onto the point instead of surging onto the point. And now Dimes is just, uh-oh. Now Hazard going down. That's a no bueno for the defense. Dimes getting low. They're going to try to get pulled in. Cardfixer, oh, they almost get taken out. And Mac going down means that Scion eSports is back in the game.
Yeah, Take Me League posting up on point. Nanoed with that Reaper gives them a very good position to just get up right onto that Orisa. It's going to have to be a lot of stall coming out from Old Man Strength. They can still make this, at worst case, a tie if they burn the clock enough. Madero taking their kills, though, taking their pound of flesh is a good starting spot.
What just happened? Dimes, you absolute madman. How did you build Barrage so quickly? That was insane.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that 2 of 2 so far, both those fights, or both these pushes that were looking pretty grim for the defensive team, pulled back by their DPS players. Dimes and Hazard definitely looking to make a name right now, and I think they're performing pretty well to it. We're seeing the Roadhog come out from Firewolf. It looks like Scion might be a little desperate.
Yes, they're going to go for a pulled pork. They just need to get kills on the board, but any kill from the defense here is massive. Firewolf gets melted. Ooh. Hazard in the full form of the Reaper. Oh, but the Take Me League breaks the Death Blossom. That's 3. Make it 4 with Matt going down. Barriers on the field. eSports from Scion is not out of the game yet. The tick goes in. It's so close. It's still contested, but overtime is down. This is nuts. Old Man Strength simply will not give up the point, but Scion eSports, I think, might finally have it here.
Yeah, we saw the Death Blossom try to get through. This is big. This team does not let off the gas for a moment. Madero popping the Coalescence as soon as it comes up. The Mind's taking Take Me League. It is looking grim for Scion. They need to make something happen quick.
All right, so Firewolf's actually doing really well now on this Hammond. They take out their counterpart in Yeetle. The Supercharger is almost done, though, and it's going to be wrapping up. They've got still a contest coming in. The May is back. Take Me League actually drops onto the Tracer, doesn't get back. Firewolf popping off, doing the damage, making it happen. They only need 2% more, but Old Man Strength is coming in here perfectly. Hazard grabs Nitch, and it's just the Old Man Strength refuses to go down, but Supreme built up a nano boost in that time. Mac gets the second charge kill, I think, of the entire tournament from Take Me League, but Psy refuses to bow down. Mac goes down, and Old Man Strength, despite not giving up the point, is falling bit by bit.
Yeah, and right now, it is going to be on Scion to not let one person get off point, otherwise that countdown is going to go so fast. Cardfixer gets antied, that's not a spot you want to be in, but Dimes dropping that Blizzard is going to help so much. Locks everybody off. Old Man Strength taking that 3rd point.
That was one of the longest Volskaya matches I
Wow.
have ever seen.
That was incredible.
Man.
I'm almost speechless here, Three. There were so many times where that was looking very grim for Old Man Strength, but they pulled it back from the literal clutches of defeat. It's so amazing. Even some respect being shown across the board onto the different support players and the different players in general for the side of Scion from OMS. So a lot of love here. Just amazing. And after that, I think we need a cooldown, and I don't know what better way to get a cooldown than to have a nice, hopefully calming interview coming up, Threep.
I think I need a cigarette. Like, what the frick? I'm trying to make sure that this stream doesn't get like banned or whatever. I don't even know what flies these days. In any event, though, yeah. So that's going to be Old Man Strength taking it, and what a well-deserved victory. But good lord, did Scion eSports make them pay for it? I even got my wish. That was a Winston coming in there at the end. Ryan Winston on the field at the same time. What year is it? Okay, it looks like Carfix is going to be coming back in for the interview. They sounded pretty calm, cool, and collected when we had them out here the first time. I am super excited to see what they sound like. Carfixer, welcome to the box. Congratulations. Tell us what you're feeling right now.
Feeling pretty good. I know it was a hard fought match, and I was really lucky that they didn't touch the back, even though we did have 5 minutes with overtime, and we were right with that. One thing I did not mention beforehand, just because it was very iffy and up in the air, and we were kind of struggling to do this, and I definitely didn't want to use it as an excuse. But actually, currently, Mac and Hazard are both out of state. They are both at PC cafes at 60 hertz monitors, and they are lagging and struggling real hard to the point where there's times where Mac just said, I can't play, and wanted to throw somebody else in instead. So didn't want to call that out beforehand and use it as an excuse, but we were definitely struggling there with 2 people on different setups.
So Mac got 2 charge kills on a 60 hertz monitor with what I assume to be probably a triple-digit latency.
Most likely. He is currently at BlizzCon, and quite literally the reason, which you guys probably know, up until 30 minutes beforehand, we did not know if he could make it to a PC cafe in time. And when he did make it to, only had 60 hertz monitors.
Wow.
So
what's the deal for Wednesday then?
It's gonna be the same thing. Sadly enough, but it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be hard fought. We're gonna do our best, but we're adjusting to it. As you can see, we're definitely stronger on our Pharah and more DPS heavy comps. It's what we're comfortable with, and we had some struggles that I will give props to that Ana. The Ana pick threw us off, and it was very good Ana.
Yeah, that. So I have difficulty calling out anyone in this particular game. It literally looked like every single person was playing their very, very best. I want to ask you a particular question, especially just about this Volskaya match we just had we bore witness to.
Mm-hmm.
When Hazard dropped that sonic arrow onto their bunker and you were flying over with dimes and you saw everyone, what was going through your mind like right then and there?
It was the quick thought of either we get them off high ground, but then they'll set up somewhere else, or we try to just go for the kill, since we do have dimes on the flank. And that was just the big, half the people were on one way, half the people were the other, but eventually we just learned to get a little bit of hybrid of both. Boop some people off, go for some kills. And I probably got run down by that Reaper, but
that was definitely a close one.
Yep.
So my question is, looking forward, I'm incredibly hyped from this game, and my adrenaline needs me to focus a little bit away from this. As we know, Wednesday, you got to be coming here to the finals now that you guys have made it all the way through the losers bracket. You're going to be going up against Dedicated Gaming once again, I believe, right? So they knocked you down 3-1. How differently do you think it's going to go? In what ways?
Honestly, it's going to be a toss-up, because what wasn't known except by most of the players was before that game, which was on a Monday, the Saturday before that, we actually went against them in a different tournament. It was same team in the finals, and we actually 3-1'd them.
Ah.
So I can tell you now, both of our coaches are good at scouting others and understanding play styles and countering them. So that's why I say it's not. We don't know which way is going to be the other. Whether it's going to be just everybody trying to counter comp each other and play around each other, or it's definitely going to be a toss up. But we're going to do our best, and definitely going to be another hard fought match.
I literally could not be happier about that. That's some real spicy news. Hearing that there's already been a little bit of a clapback, so to speak. So this is not only is this a grudge match for this particular tournament, but we're coming in at this from all different angles. It's all hands on deck. This is gonna be spicy.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah, there are storylines here that extend way past this tournament, which it's kind of like being in a WWE show or something like that, with just knowing how everybody interacts with each other. But I mean, man, this was a great game to watch, and we talked about it before a little bit. I want to talk about it again now, not because I'm trying to focus on them, but because it's something we don't see very often anymore. Is we did see the Ana come out from them. Now, me and Three were talking. They landed a lot of abilities, so a lot of anti-nades that seemed pretty big, a lot of sleep darts that kept dimes out of the sky for collectively like a minute at a time, but what was your team's method in dealing with that Ana?
It was a lot of adapting our playstyle. Just because the Ana typically isn't run, we had to do some thinking in the mid-game of what would be the best way to approach the situation, just due to the different playstyles and absolutely the skill level of that Ana and how well they were landing all abilities. It was definitely something that we haven't seen before, and as you can see, it threw us off guard. So
understandable. I mean, the sheer skill from that player was unbelievable. But I want to argue once again that you guys came against it rather really strong, especially since when we were seeing some of the craziest shots imaginable, it was on Lijiang Tower, which you handily swept. So, gonna say that I think you adapted pretty nicely. Now, looking at this particular match, so you guys, again, looking at the schedule as well, it's no stranger to playing extended matches. What are some of your strategies for keeping your focus and keeping your attitude up as you're going into like Game 4, Game 5?
It's definitely when the team first formed, we had some problem with mental and getting everything like in the right and having that exact problem, which is over time people start to get upset. But then we had a long talk recently about it and just tried to figure some things out. And really, it comes down to when you are upset or people are getting upset, you're not going to play to your best ability. And once we all understood that and all talked about what we needed to talk about, we just realized, like, listen, like, no matter what, we need to focus up. We have a call for reset mental if we need it. And just because if we don't, it's just going to hurt us in the long run. So for the greater good, we make sure to keep our focus and just worry about next. If anybody makes a mistake, don't call it out, just because that could just terrify a team. So
I think that's a very good mentality to have when working, with consistent teammates. Just kind of keep your head down, focus on your own game. I think that's a good method to avoiding the tilt. But I mean, overall, just some excellent games played, Carfixer. I think we are about ready to wrap it up with our MVP vote. But before we let you go, was there any final words, any perhaps words you want to say to your future opponents out there that that you want to get off before we send you off?
We're old, but we're spry.
Hey.
All right, Threep, what's the phrase again, Threep? Wisdom and...
Oh, yeah. Age and cunning beat youth and vigor any day of the week. Any day of the week. I only started saying that as I got older, though. So.
Of course.
Well, with that being said, Carfixer, thanks for hanging out and answering a few questions with us off the back of that lengthy and very intense game from our point of view. I want to thank you and give you a big congratulations for making it all the way to the finals. And with that, I guess we will be seeing you off. Best of luck, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Threep, we are getting to that portion of the night where we get to announce our viewers' MVP. I have the envelope. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, and it looks like it's going to be the man whose name I probably messed up the most, the second most this game. That's going to be Niche from the side of Scion. So congratulations, Niche, for winning that game. Whether it's Niche or Niche, I didn't get the pronunciations for that. Doesn't really matter. But with that being said, congratulations, and congratulations once again to Old Man Strength for turning this losers bracket finals in their favor, pursuing on to the finals. Scion Esports, I hope we definitely see you guys again in future tournaments, but that's going to wrap it up for those of us here at the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl. I want to give you guys a big thank you for tuning in and watching with us. Be sure to hit that follow button, the likes, the joinings of the Discord, whatever your preferred social media is. If you want to stay tuned and catch those finals on Wednesdays, can't forget about it.
Yep. So with that being said, a perfect wrap up. This has been Threepwood007. Grab me on Twitch or Twitter at Threepwood007.
And likewise, I've been Sir Waltham. You can catch me also on Twitch or Twitter, but this time at Sir Waltham, WALTHAM. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We wish you guys a great night, and be sure to stay safe out there, everybody.